Hello, Dee. Hello, Ashley. How are
Hi.
you guys? Thank you for joining me today, and congratulations on season 2. Got to start with Rex. He's
Yeah.
back. Loving that he is back because the scene that we just saw in these episodes here. I know you haven't seen him yet, but one of the
I've seen some of it.
You've seen some of it. Okay, so
Yeah.
and you know the line of basically explaining to, I think it is for story and it's for fans who keep asking if stormtroopers are clones, because Rex clearly says they're not.
No.
And how refreshing was it for you as Rex to basically to inform everyone of what the deal was with the stormtroopers, and just to be back in that mentality of being a soldier again as Rex in now the Rebels universe?
Well, it's really great to lay that down because stormtroopers, it's like they cannot hit the side of a barn. I mean, there's a lot of stormtroopers who are not great shots, and clones, they know what they're doing, and I'm really glad that they could lay that down, and that's part of the fun of the story is to bring these old soldiers, and even though they're old, they're still very, very good. They work really well as a team. They're as competent and able as they've ever been, and so that's a huge relief to see that, and to give them a fresh horizon from which to move after the darkness of the Clone Wars.
And Rex is still a heck of a shot.
Rex is a great shot as always. I mean, they're not off their game one bit. They may look older from appearance, and they may seem and a little bit older, a little more off when you first meet them. But once things kick into action, they're like they were.
Right. Yeah, and you can tell. I mean, just the dynamic to bring back the stuff that was in the Clone Wars, and then to watch Rex and the other clones with the Jedi, and it's still that soldier's mentality, but still the respect of when they're looking up at Kanan on the AT-AT and they see him, and it's just like old times. I thought that was a great.
Well, right, and there really is, as at least Wolf and all that come to learn that there's no reason that they should harbor any kind of ill will towards Kanan or to any specific Jedi. I mean, these larger events played out the way that they did, but there's no reason to cast blame on these new friends that have been sent their way by Ahsoka. That you listen to those the recommendations of a good friend, and you stick with that.
Well, and speaking of Ahsoka, what a whirlwind for this character in general, from the beginning and in the first one she appears in the movie, and then watching what happens with her, because I've seen, and to hear Dave talk about too, when Ahsoka first made her first appearance, not all the fans got on board.
No.
And now, I'll tell you, like my brother, Ahsoka's probably one of his favorite characters of all time, and this is film and everything. It's what the development of what she's done. I know you've been asked a million times what it was like to come back to Rebels, but knowing what she's going to do and the arc of meeting Vader, and maybe what you may or may not know of whether the question is, does she know that it's Anakin? I happen to think she does. You will know. You won't tell me, but that's fine. But I'm just curious about what it's like this season for Ahsoka and all the meeting an old friend, coming back seeing an old friend, the trials and tribulations that she has to go through.
You know, I can answer that question from my personal opinion.
Okay.
You know, because I'm a fan as well. So I watch these episodes as a fan of Ahsoka, as a fan of the story. And, you know, after I watched Siege of Lothal and, you know, everyone was like, oh, she knows. I actually didn't think that she knew. I think that thought that Vader could be Anakin is so bad. Like, when you find out bad information about somebody you love, you just don't want to believe it.
Right.
And so I think she has such this connection with Anakin. I mean, Anakin was her brother, Anakin was family. I don't think if, in her mind, if there is that thought that could be Vader, she doesn't want to believe it, so she puts it out of her mind.
It seems like an inconceivable thought.
Right.
Yes.
I mean, it is inconceivable.
Right. It was the last you saw him. He was trying to get her to stay, and then that was the last
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, I just think my opinion is that she doesn't think that it's him, but she, you know, of course, she has her suspicions, and she's on her own journey to find out who this mysterious Sith Lord is. So we'll see throughout the season what she finds out.
And speaking of seeing throughout the season, David mentioned there's going to be a lot of character development in general. And I think one of the things with Ahsoka, what I'm curious about, is where was she during that time on the run? Are we going to explore that? Are we going to find out how she got involved with the rebellion at the first? Do you know?
Well,
all right.
We've heard tales.
All right.
We've heard tales, but it's funny. Dave is on like a need-to-know basis.
Yeah.
And so we didn't know for the longest time, like, what was going on. And when we were recording something, Dave will let us know what we need to know in order to give the performance that we need to give. And so casually, he like dropped this bombshell of what happened in between, and Dee and I were just like, what? Excuse me? What happened? So we know a little bit, but in terms of the entire arc of between Clone Wars and Rebels, I mean, there's so much I don't know.
Right.
I don't know about you.
No, I don't. But the specifics have been fleshed out in Dave's mind to a fair degree.
Yeah.
Of what happens during Episode 3.
Well, because because that's as far as you guys learning. I think that for character development too, is knowing. Maybe that's why Dave's given those tidbits as well too, so it's easier to help with the character. Is that why? Because I'm curious. Same thing with Rex. Like Rex has been off the grid, but still, like what he didn't just pick up the tank right after the Clone Wars and say, "All right, I'm going to go get a tank."
No,
right?
No, it's still the battle still played out for them. It just wasn't captured on film,
right? At
least yet. And I don't know specifically how it ended, but it was not. It didn't just stop.
Right.
Of course,
Okay.
There's a line in season 2 that'll give you a little bit of a backstory.
Okay.
And in order for us to perform the scene, we needed to know more backstory. So so you'll get tidbits, but there's actually a lot that won't be fleshed out.
Well, when Dave was talking about this, I believe it was a celebration when he was talking about this particular season. He compared this to The Empire Strikes Back of Rebels. When you think of that, you think of the dark, kind of gloomy, epic feel. Where do you guys see the fate of your characters overall throughout this season and throughout the series in general?
That's a really interesting question, because for me personally, these two characters are unique in that they are characters of light. That they're good. Fundamentally not conflicted characters. They don't have to go on a really complex inner searching journey. They started good and they continue to be so. Now there's a lot of complications for both the way that the Clone Wars played out and with Ahsoka's walking away. But for me, I mean, I love having these characters in because they're like these two reliable friends that have been there, and you still want them to be there, and you want them to do well, and you want them to succeed and continue to be part of the light in what will become a darker journey ahead. Again, now that we're past the main storm of the Clone Wars. I don't know. What do you think?
I think there's so much more of their stories that still need to be told. So we'll get more this season, and I hope we have the opportunity to continue to tell their story.
Yeah, maybe there is more darkness ahead.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, congratulations again on season 2. I can't wait to watch more. I'm addicted. Thank you very much, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.